Hey, good morning, folks. I was hoping I could say a couple words about AI art, especially as it pertains to tattooing. Because I've seen talk, had discussions in the shop, and I've even kind of dabbled into it very recently, just a bit myself. So, is it this job ending? Oh, all the artists are gonna. No, not even close. It's neat. You know what I mean? It's good for reference, and there's some stuff that it puts out that, like, damn, that's a good looking image. That's a cool looking like anime design or something like that. But we also already have the couple stories of the cheese balls that just kind of like AI search some stuff. To me, it's the equivalent of just like searching tattoo forums and like, oh, I'll just steal this real quick and just pretend like I drew it. When you get caught doing that, you look like a dork. You know what I mean? And you should. That should be a career-ending. At least you have some stuff to recover from kind of move. It's not okay. So be honest with people. If you're using it for reference or you're using little pieces or something, I mean, sure, I could see an advantage there. There are also disadvantages. We've seen a couple people just completely trust the reference material, whether it's somebody else's or they're not even reference material, just the material that they're going to be tattooing. And if somebody's putting that little effort into something and just cheeseballing it, there's going to be mistakes. What was it? David was telling me about a guy who did a snake, and the snake's tongue is obviously not a snake tongue because the AI didn't understand it. That's one of the things that I found. Is like putting in prompts, like a lot of times, like, wow, you didn't understand that request at all, or like, that's not the way that works. This is where having the advantage of having an actual human being who's done something for a long time, because he will troubleshoot that. It's the same thing I tell my daughter when she puts something into her calculator. You should at least in your mind have some sort of general idea what the outcome should be. So if you put it into your calculator and calculator tells you 10 billion, you don't just write that down. If you thought it should be somewhere around 17, you should be like, oh wow, that prompt didn't work right, and that's obviously not the answer. Okay, so like calculators are nice, but if you have no idea, you got no business using that as an answer. Okay, once we start getting into what I consider real tattooing, and this is where, like, I'm old, there's certain ways in which I'm just like, I'm stuck, but to me real drawing is large scale stuff that fits the body, style driven. Like, you look at a whole person's suit and you're like, damn, the cohesion there, that all of that looks correct with the body, it flows with everything. I don't think that AI is, first of all, AI is not AI. Like, now that I'm a sci-fi nerd, it's not what it is. It's a different kind of search engine and image collaborator manipulator kind of thing. Okay, it's fine, but it's certainly not specific enough to make something consistent that's gonna do that without tons of mistakes. The last thing and the most important thing that I will say, you want the technician, the person that's doing the work, you want them to know every single line while they're doing it, because otherwise, like, mistakes or just like it's not their piece. It's not going to be a completed thing. Dude, when you're laying down stencils, nothing is ever perfect. When you're laying down large scale stuff, if you're using somebody else's design, something's not going to match up. Something's like, oh, we got another inch before the armpit over here. You have to know how to manipulate these things. The body moves. The body, like, there's a lot of troubleshooting that happens in any art, any craft, right? You go in with a plan. The plan has to be 120% because there's going to be that variance at some point. You change one thing, like, can we make this purple? He's going to have to know the answer, and the answer sometimes is like, yeah, but we could probably have to keep that muted or make that really bright and maybe mute this, because otherwise it's going to be just too bright, or the contrast isn't going to be there. If you don't have a little bit of that and somebody who's been doing it for a long time, and you're depending on some scrub plus AI, or you're hoping for miracles, I would see a high rate of just failure. That's just me. But at this point in technology and in time, you still need your tattooer. And you would still, if you want good, proper, hard-hitting tattoos that are worth paying for, you want a tattooer that can design the thing that you want. Now, for AI, for the tattooer, for the artist, whatever, if you need reference and, like, God, I need like about 100 leaves so I can look at them in different directions, like, dude, yeah, it's the same thing as a freaking Google search or going to Hobby Lobby and looking at all the silk flowers or something like that. It's a shortcut for sure, but it's a responsible shortcut. You know what I mean? It's the same way, like, if I'm drawing a bear, I'm going to look at 100 pictures of bears and I'm going to learn the form. I'm like, okay, I'm going to break it down into its simpler points so I know how to draw a fucking bear before I'm drawing somebody a bear. I'm not just going to, like, print a bear and just, like, sort of wing it, because sometimes that one shadow, that's not a branch, like, that was the other leg, and I didn't understand that and I ruined it. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of realism guys do that kind of shit because they don't know the material. They're just copy and pasting. there's a skill there, there's a technique, I get it, there, like, that's a job, but I always think that people are going to benefit from the technician knowing the source material well enough to where they didn't draw it by hand every fucking stroke, they could have, and they know every piece of this thing. You know what I mean? So I know that's not the best way to explain things, but thanks for sitting through it. But tattooers, like, work on your craft, know your artwork. If you're purely a technician, be very specialized, something like that. I don't know, like, just, to me it's always like you should be able to draw it. You know what I mean? Clients don't believe in magic. You know what I mean? Like, just because you can, just because you find an image on the internet or through AI or just whatever, doesn't necessarily mean that it can or should be tattooed exactly as it is. That's another thing. If you got somebody that just doesn't know skin, doesn't know what it does and the rules to applying and crafting a good tattoo, that's why you see so many tattoos like not hold up very well in time. I think a lot of people just aren't applying the traditional rules. There's a reason that they're there, and you can bend those once you've learned them and you know how to apply them perfectly, but you don't just run in and just start breaking shit, because like there's a reason those rules are there. Just say it. So, long explanation is something that, whatever. It's an advantage. It helps. It's not a solution. Let's say that. Hope you're all doing well. Have a good week, people. Just got over Easter. I'm going to go put an event and change the doorknob in the shop, because apparently that's a thing now. But, yeah, again, hope you're doing well. Have a great day.